just do a little debrief, talk about the trip and favorite moments or stuff like that, because I think that that'll be kind of cool. Nice to think about all of it. It's not all exhilarating shows, and I don't know. I have no energy, you can tell, dude. I have nothing in my brain. Oh, God. It's all gone. Yes, this is where I'm staying. Some of my stuff. And gonna eat some dinner, watch a movie, and then talk about it afterwards. So, like, right off the top here, like, immediately as you think of the tour, what's the first thing that kind of comes to your mind?
It feels like an accomplishment. It feels like, yes, we did it. Like, that was a big question at the beginning. It was like I had three main goals at the beginning, which the first one was to plant seeds with different like venue owners and just have like a good relationship with the venue owners wherever we went, and the sound guys and like the staff, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then to the people we played to, I want to be able to make new fans and really connect with people, new audiences. And the third one was more to just like put the music to the test. Like I know there's people around here that love it, and I was like, okay, what if we take it outside the bubble? And how do people respond to it in Texas? How do people respond to it in Georgia? So that was like the three main goals, just to like put the music to the test, and then those other two. And all those things we accomplished. We made good connections with venue owners. Like I feel like every place we played, even Liquid Joe's, which was a rough one. That guy, Ed, who owns the place, was like, I really liked your music. I'd like to have you guys come back. We just want to promote it better. And, obviously it helps if people in the area know who you are so that they come out to the shows. But
Well, that's good. I'm glad that he was still optimistic about it and he liked you guys' music, even though the promotion for the venue was...
Even though it was super low turnout. I mean, part of that was my fault too. Like I knew, like my hope going into it was if we'd been able to raise the full goal, the full $10,000 we were trying to do this tour, I would have had an extra just stash of money that was dedicated to targeting ads in certain areas before we got there. Like my goal was to start like a month in advance to the day. So every day or so, I'd be starting another ad campaign in another city, and then the next day, so it'd be like a month ahead of us wherever we went. I'd be blasting the area with ads and like music and stuff, trying to hype it up. But we just didn't have the budget for it. So right off the bat, when we were going on the road, I knew that a lot of the gigs were going to be hard, close to empty, and that's hard to do. I think that was hard for all of us. Drive, 5 hours, 6 hours to get somewhere, set up, knowing that there's probably going to be nobody there, and then play our hearts out to nearly empty rooms. But the people that were there, I feel like, almost without fail, the people that were there were like blown away and like, you guys are fucking awesome. We want to see you again, that kind of thing. So
100%.
It was good. It was a success. It wasn't a glorious tour, it was gritty and just like hard and exhausting for everybody and draining in every way that it can be draining, but it was a success, and we did make it through it without any major accidents, no major like mishaps, including the crazy weather we ran into on multiple occasions, tornado warnings in Texas, and then also on the way back in Kansas, and
that was
never gotten any accidents with the van. Nothing was broken into.
Right.
These are all major wins for a do-it-yourself tour that's not, insured and endorsed and protected and paved by a record label. So all those things were success.
100%. I mean, the like small interaction that I feel like that meant the most to me was really cool was Albuquerque at the Lobo Theater. That couple that showed up, like they were walking up and they immediately were like, I was like, you guys here for the music? And they're like, yeah, we're here from Adam Gabriel and the Cavaliers. And I was like, hey, like I'm Adam's son. And they immediately were just like so shocked that I was there, and it was cool. Like they were like, really? And I was like, yeah, yeah.
what?
Yeah, that was really special. And then
I loved that they had listened to the music before and actually, like, I found out that they were like, we really loved the song Adeline.
Yeah.
And so when we heard that, it was like, oh, fuck, yeah, definitely going to play Adeline.
Fucking playing Adeline. Yeah. I know. They were so stoked afterwards, too. And, like, the little intermission that we had and stuff. And, like, they just seemed like that was really special for them. And it felt like for us, too. I mean, at least for me, that was cool to be able to have people that were so into it. Just total random strangers that happen to find, they're like, we want to find some music tonight, happen to look you up, and then start listening. You're like, oh shit, this guy's good, we really like it. And kind of, that was awesome. I've never been scared of the weather. Yeah. Like, I've never been, like, in a position, especially like living in like Oregon or whatever, you know, like it's never been like I'm nervous or like.
Yeah, the storms up here are pretty mild.
Yeah, like I was never actually scared
compared to some of the storms there. And
dude,
I mean, fire here is pretty much the only thing people get really freaked out about.
Right.
In Southern Oregon is the fire season.
Kansas was fucking sketchy.
I know.
I like would look over a few times and you were white knuckling the fucking steering wheel because it was just like
wind was pushing us all over the road and it was hard to see anyway with the rain and there was like standing water on the road and then the tornado warning came on. It was like, fuck.
Holy shit. I know, and then we had to, you're like, yeah, I was like, thank God we're on the highway so we can get some overpasses or something like that. And you were like, yeah, we're turning off the highway. And then we turned off the highway towards the fucking storm. And it's like, oh, God.
Kind of felt like a storm chaser.
Yeah,
because we're like, oh my God, we're going right into the middle of it. We got the van, like had a little Dorothy in the back.
Dude, I saw storm chasers while we were driving, too. I saw a car.
Oh, that's right, the car with the camera on
it. Yeah, there was like 3 cameras. There was 2 sticking out the back and 1 on the top. They're like the 360 cameras.
Good place for it. I mean, the cool thing is you could see the storms from miles away because it's so open, so they know where to hit. But yeah, that was scary. Thank God the trailer was so full and weighted down because it would have, like, with some of that wind, it would have just like whipped it around behind us, and we'd have been like, fuck.
That would have been fucking shitty. Yeah, and like no accidents.
Yeah,
no accidents. That's huge. There was that one ding on the side over there.
And I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from either. No idea. But
it happened while I was driving. I was driving the whole time.
It had to be while I was parked.
Somebody must have, like scraped it when we were parked somewhere.
Yeah, like opened a door. Like it seemed like someone had like a scooter, and they just like fucking ran into it with like the thing. Because it's like a weird dent.
But if that's all the damage that is sustained on the whole tour.
For 30 days of straight traveling.
Straight driving, that's not bad. How many states? 16?
16.
16 states.
Yeah.
30 days. The other cool thing, I feel like a highlight for me was, I mean, obviously Georgia, but like starting off at the Criterion Theater and having the audience be so enthusiastic and really supportive and sending us on our way. And then going through what felt like, you know, the Fellowship of the Rings journey, like through Mordor and shit. Like, it was hard. It was really, really hard for everybody. But then yesterday, driving into Etna with the van, all road worn, and all of us were dusty and sweaty and hopping out of the van and just like.
All the people were like,
we were like, oh, you're on tour.
Yeah. It's the tour guys.
It's like, yeah,
it's whatever.
It's because it looks and sounds all glorious from the outside until you're like in the van, and then you're just like, not glorious. But then like playing in Etna yesterday, as hot as it was on that stage with the direct sunlight, you know, I thought I was going to pass out like twice. Yeah. I started seeing stars and like getting lightheaded because of the heat. But the crowd was so there with us, and it was a full crowd, like a whole bunch of people screaming and dancing and stuff, and to me it was just like affirmation. It was like, yes, this is good, people like this, and it's working. I had no illusions or delusions about this tour being some glamorous, especially the first one, you know, like people showing up in droves and you know, playing in crowded rooms. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but also I was like, because I've done a couple small tours by myself before, I knew it was going to get really exhausting and draining day after day after day after day, and I was concerned that everybody was really fully mentally prepared for and physically prepared for what that was going to be.
Yeah.
And obviously it took its toll on everybody, on our nerves and
100%.
our mental state and emotional state, and that's to be expected. But we all still made it. We did it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a huge success. And so,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to planning something for next year.
Yeah, and I think that after being able to go to all these places and again, like the connections you made with all the people, music scene in every single city that we were at, like, you know, next time you go, people are gonna be like, oh, it's kind of make it definitely gonna be a bigger deal than it was this time. You know?
Yeah, it'll just get better.
It'll just get
it's
better.
It's gonna take time to do it, but
yeah,
I'm also thinking about like, I mean, like I said, this tour actually began because I wanted to drive back and see my family, and I thought I just want to do a road trip and see all of them. I want to see Ben in Fort Worth. I want to see Paige in Houston. I want to see Mason in Alabama, and I want to see my family in Tennessee and go back to Comer, Georgia. And it was really important for me to like check that out and take you to do that too. And then the tour kind of got built around it. It's such a big circle to make. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for a band at our stage in the game to try to do national tours regularly.
Right.
Like, it makes more sense to do smaller regional tours, like just expand our circle a little bit, and then build a little bit more of an audience, and then expand it a little bit more and do these different circles up and down the West Coast, and maybe you know, going east a little bit. But I still really enjoyed it, and I still want to do it again. I think next year I'd like to make some changes. I'd like to make some adjustments. I mean, obviously, always want to be like adjusting and like pivoting and like what's a better way to do this. Like the Airbnb thing is a small thing, but it makes a huge difference.
And like the Airbnb thing is huge for sure. Whoa.
Or like staying with people who are fans and want to support the band. Like that would be a great way of doing. Maybe trying to do more like house concerts. I think would be cool.
That would be sick. Yeah,
I tried actually to book a bunch of house concerts, but it's just.
I know my friend Kate too in Arizona. She was like, "You guys can just play a show at my house if you want."
Fuck yeah!
And I was like, "You do not have a big enough house for that. I've been to your house before, like, and also you live with like 4 other people.
Oh.
It's like it wouldn't have worked."
Well, I mean, even if they just invited 20 people,
right? True.
And those 20 people or 25 people, they paid $20 to come, and then maybe bought some merch or something. Like that would have been more successful to me than like playing to an empty venue, even if there's a guarantee. You know?
Yeah, it would have been.
Because then you're reaching actual people.
You're
making actual fans, and those people, if they're get a real intimate kind of show, and they're more likely to tell their friends when we come through, like, oh, these guys are good.
And they played at my friend's house.
Yeah, and they played at our house, and they're fucking cool, and we had a great time. We want to come to this show.
But,
stuff to learn, and obviously as much time, like I started planning it in December, and I thought 6 months was enough time to put, but when it came down to it, it was like, holy shit, I could use an extra 2 months easily for fundraising, for planning, for promoting.
Yeah, it seemed like that would have been beneficial, but I mean, even at the Criterion too, we had like that one lady who went to the wine venue who bought one of the guitars, and that was crazy. That was wild. It was huge.
Yeah, I mean that was an extra. Was it $1,200?
Yeah,
that went straight to the tour. So that's
straight
several places to stay. That's gas. It's a lot.
I kicked us off like right away. I know, and I remember like her coming up and be like, "Yeah, like so this is like an auction." And he's like, "Yeah, the starter bid's at $1,200, so you can go off of that." She's like, "Okay, well, I'll just do a $1,200 bid." I'm like, "Okay, really?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, I mean, yeah, cool. That's awesome. I mean, that's not that much money to me either."
Yeah, but even the fundraising stuff, I learned a lot about that, and I'll be doing it a lot better next year and starting earlier. I think so. I'm not feeling panicked, and we've got some money to work with.
Right.
When it comes to advertising and.
Yeah, I feel like the advertising would make a big difference for sure. But it was also really cool to go see Ben. See Ben, see Mason, and like Grandma D, and everyone in Tennessee was just fantastic. Like I really didn't want to leave.
I know, I didn't either.
I didn't realize how much I missed them and how much, like, yeah, I love being around them because, you know, like we used to have all sorts of, like, you know, Christmas or, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever we used to have when we were younger, and I like have very fond memories of that, your side of the family, you know, because you used to just so many fucking siblings, so it's like it's always a huge, big meals and everyone hanging out and laughing.
Big, loud personalities.
Yeah.
Nathan cracking jokes and making the throw up sounds like my dad and my mom cracking up laughing. I mean, it happens every single time we get together.
Really?
It's great though.
Yeah, that was great. It was so nice to see Grandma D. Like, I remember, like, I hugged Sarah at the end and she started, like, tearing up, and I, like, almost cried a little bit too, because I was like, stop, don't do it. I don't want to cry either.
Yeah, it's hard. They moved back across the country, but it was good to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. And I talked to Nino for, like, probably more than I talked to anybody. And I talked to Nino, like, and it was really cool to talk to Nino. Like, I don't know. Like, because I'm older now. I'm, like, you know, I'm grown up. And so it's just, yeah, it was cool to talk to them and be there for that. And see Mason. I haven't seen Mason in a long time, too.
I know. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear he's, like, wanting to move back to the West Coast and be a little closer.
Yeah.
I know he's not real happy in Alabama. And I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I also liked? I liked that we played to a really diverse group of people. Like, even though there wasn't a lot of people at the different shows, like, we played it, like, when we played in Shreveport at the biker bar.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck yeah. And then we played in, you know, Mobile, Alabama, where the population is like 60% black.
Right.
And they loved it. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And then just play all the different places, different types of people, and it was positive response from everyone who came to the shows.
Right. Everyone
and that to me was huge.
Yeah. I mean,
even when we played at Liquid Joe's and Rick behind the bar,
yeah,
you know, we started off with a major attitude, and then by the end, it was like, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Dude, fucking Rick. Yeah, that guy, he looked like, was it Van Halen? Is that what you guys were saying?
Yeah, he was pissed off. I think he was pissed off that he had to be there.
Right, because there's nobody there.
There was nobody there. And he was like, fuck this. Yeah. Why do I have to come in and work the bar for nobody? Because this band is playing. And I get it. Yeah. I probably would have been pissed off too, but the fact that at the end of it, he was like, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I know, he's so stoic too.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah. And he, I grabbed the beers and shit like that and put them back on the counter, and I was like, thank you, really appreciate it, like, you guys have a good night. And he was like, well, do you want to finish them? I was like, no, I gotta get on the road, dude. You can't just finish the beer, you know? He's like, oh, all right. But he was just like, he seemed super chipper after the show, for sure. Yeah, he seemed like he was, That
was cool. And, you know, we also got I love watching the land change. I love just, we literally drove across the country like twice and got to see so many different types of land, like everything from like the mountains to like deserts to the wide open plains, you know, and like the cool rock formations and stuff, and Arizona and New Mexico, and like then there's just like this swampy, humid south that we went through, and where it's almost like a rainforest, you know. And I love that. I love seeing it. It's like makes you realize how big this country is. It's huge.
Dude, it was wild, and like I've never been that far east before, and being able to like to do that too, it really, yeah, I felt the same way. I was just like in awe the most of the time, just as we were driving through all the states, and just how humid and hot it was in the south. It was just like, holy shit, it's like thick.
And on one hand, I wish we could have spent more time in each place, just kind of exploring each place. But then if you were to really do that, it would turn to 1 month toward to 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Easily.
And
we just did not have time or money for that, but there's so much to see. And a lot of it felt like, a lot of the states just felt like we were just sort of like grazing over the top of it.
Right. We literally were.
Yeah.
We were just driving through.
And like
playing
stop in one place, play a show, load it up, and then
go again.
So I kind of felt bad about, like, when we were in Austin, we were joking about how this place is a shithole. I know that it was really because we were just, playing at that one spot in that one part of town. We didn't even get to go downtown Austin to check it out. It was like...
I drove through a little bit because my buddy Diego, he picked me up and we drove around. He got some tacos at like this taco place or whatever, but... and it's nice down there, and he was like talking about there's like a really big bar scene on 6th Street, and like
I'm sure there's some really cool spots, really beautiful spots in
But
Austin that we didn't even get to see because we were just in a rush to get there and move on.
Yeah. Where we played though was a fucking shithole for sure. That one,
that place was rough.
It was gross. It was really gross.
Somebody had commented on when I said we were playing at the Carousel Lounge, like, the place is still open. Apparently, I mean, maybe they had people come there. There was nobody there when we were there. I felt bad for the guy who was on before us.
Yeah.
To just play into the bartender, and then we showed up and kind of, we're trying to like give him some applause, and then it turns out the guy's from Oregon.
Yeah, he's from Oregon.
It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that was wild. And like he was saying too, he was like, he just got married and this is our honeymoon. He's going on tour with his wife.
Tour. I know. I felt bad for her. I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. This is her honeymoon.
Yeah.
Playing at the Carousel Lounge in Austin with nobody, and then the homeless people across the street with their clothes up on the fence, and like I don't know what was going on in that abandoned house, but
that was a fucking
had some traffic.
Cesspool or some shit.
It was pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
I know we were all a little nervous about the van and stuff outside. I wasn't quite as nervous there as I was in San Francisco, but that's another like example of how like we played a great show and the people that were there really enjoyed it.
Yeah, San Francisco was fun.
It was fun, and I thought for sure that the van was going to get broken into that night. I thought, oh my God. I'd already kind of looked up the insurance information on the van, and like I was ready to like call about broken windows or something, but like nobody did, which was shocking. Parked on that street, I was like, oh my God.
It's like downtown San Francisco, dude. Like in that busy ass 4-lane fucking I thought I was gonna get hit. I don't know if you thought I was gonna get hit. That was wild.
Not Vanna White.
Not Saint Vanna White. Saint Vanna White. She really did it. Good for her.
Not one mechanical problem, really.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, exhausted. Super exhausted, but really proud of it. I'm really, really proud. I didn't feel like, even at the worst of times, when we were like, certain members were pissed at each other or whatever, like we still got on stage and like it was like time to work and we did it. You know what I mean? We just gave it 100%. And I don't feel like anybody at any point was like just phoning in the performance because they weren't into it. Like, even though we knew. Like,
right. Which is good. That's really good.
Yeah, I was really proud of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's also a success.
That means a lot too, because like even if they're, because you never know who's watching. You know, someone's always watching, someone's always listening, or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
If you'd half-ass it at one show or something like that, you know, you would probably want to do it more times.
Yeah, well, these are cities that I want to play in again.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to make a reputation for myself as being, you know, a band that's
pretentious.
Yeah, or just does it like that one band actually at Carousel Lounge that was supposed to play after us, or before us? No, after us.
After you guys.
And they showed up and then just left.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, man,
that's not
you don't know who this venue owner knows, or like, you know, how things get around, but like every gig that we booked, we played, except for the one in Cisco, Texas, and that was because of we got held up because, and you know what? And thank God we got held up because of that electrical problem with the trailer. Because if we hadn't lost that almost 2 hours, like dealing with that and trying to make up the drive time, we would have got there on time. We would have started playing, and then that tornado would have hit Cisco, Texas, right when we were there.
Dude, and there, like,
instead of us like getting there and then just like driving to Fort Worth, like
we were literally running from the storm. We were literally running from the storm, and that was crazy because the next day I see online it was like the tornado in the like last 50 years. It's like that's absolutely
the first
insane.
tornado in 50 years.
Yeah, like we drive through town in a
the
tornado.
night we were there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, and it seemed like there were several times like that between the accidents on the road and
Texas was wild.
Yeah.
Texas, there's a lot of shit that happened in Texas.
Well, it's a big state.
Yeah.
And we were there for 1, 2, 3, 4 shows.
Yeah.
Cisco, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and it was still,
Yeah, we really only played Fort Worth, Austin, Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy, dude. Was there a show that was your favorite?
I mean, it's hard to beat the Criterion Theater.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat, the lights and the sound system and the audience. Even though the place wasn't filled up, there was still like 350, 400 people in there, totally invested and just loving it. And the meet and greet beforehand, and it just felt like huge and amazing. Obviously, that one was amazing. Our send-off show was amazing. Our welcome home show at Trails End Music Festival was fucking amazing. From the green room to the actual performance and the response from the crowd, that was amazing.
Yeah, the green room was
all
awesome.
The shows in between felt about the same to me. Like,
there wasn't really one of those that stuck out more.
No, I mean, they were all hard. They were all like, I mean, they were good in their own way. We made a good impression in all of them, but like none of them felt like, oh my god, that was a mind-blowing.
Right.
I mean, the one at the bowling alley was pretty cool.
That was fucking
in Greeley,
wild.
Colorado.
Yeah,
that was cool. I like what they did there. I was like, oh my god, the stage is in the middle of the bowling alley, like, on the lanes.
4 lanes.
People bowling on both sides of you. But they do a great job there. I mean, the guy, Sid, is that his name?
I think so.
Sid, the sound guy, he, with the lights, he was like freestyling, like doing the lighting and stuff while we were performing, and like he was locked in.
Yeah.
It was good.
No, it was super cool, and Brian was saying that he was doing all the lights like at, like, what was it, spontaneous or some shit. It was just like all improv. He was just improvising all the lights and just kind of guessing changes and stuff.
And he was
like
doing a
that.
great job.
And
he recorded the video and the audio for it. And we
Yeah.
have some cool stuff we can use for the video, music videos and stuff.
Yeah, and he's a cool guy too. He was probably one of the better sound guys.
It's a good tour.
Yeah. Well, glad we wrapped it up.
About wraps it up.
Just about it.
Time to start planning the next one.
Yeah. All right. Heard it here, folks.
Rock and roll.
Heard it here.